Morning folks, I've stopped off in Lazenby this morning. It's perfect, it's got a co-op basically, so it's perfect for that kind of, dude, I've forgotten to get some lunch. And as a bonus item, it's also got one of them Costas machines as well. Happy days. Right folks, so sudden sort of midway through change of plan. I've just checked the weather report. I don't know why I didn't do that first thing this morning. A little bit rushed getting the kids to school and what have you. But I've just checked the weather report, and today it's going to be basically fine. A little bit of drizzly showers, but nothing serious. And tomorrow it's going to chuck down. Now the job that I was going to do is basically just shoveling shit. It doesn't really matter to me whether I do that in the wet or not. You know, you can just put some waterproof trousers on. You're not going to get cold because you're shoveling all day, so does it really matter if you're getting a bit wet? Anyway, I'm just trying to think that. I'm still thinking that through in my head now. But a job that I was going to do tomorrow that I don't really want to do in the wet because I'm going to be using drills and electrical equipment and what have you, is to put a new covering on the top of my lean-to. So basically this green one I put up ages ago, and it was put up in a bit of a rush. I put it up just after Storm Desmond. They'd blown my original one. What was my original? Was it green as well, or was it blue? I can't remember, but I had one on there at first. We had that Storm Desmond up in Cumbria, as you probably remember, and it was a right carry on. It made a mess of it. So I kind of threw the green one up really quickly. And to be honest, it's lasted, what, 12, 13? No, it's lasted like 15 months, roughly. It's done all right, but I always kind of knew, the minute I'd finished it, I always knew I'd thrown it up way too quick and hadn't done the job that I wanted to do. So it hasn't lasted perhaps as long as it could have done. So the score is today, because I'm going to be using drills and yada yada, I don't really want to do that in the chucking down rain, so I'm swapping jobs completely. I'm swapping around what I was going to do today and putting that off till tomorrow, and I'm going to crack on with this today. Right, I've composed myself a little bit now. When I just spoke to you earlier, I was all a bit kind of what happens is I like to think about during put my teeth in, still flustered. During the prior evening, I like to think about the job the next day and what I'm going to do, how I'm going to approach it, and I find that it saves me a lot of time and a lot of hassle when I come to actually do the job. So basically last night I'd thought about doing a job, and then today I'm doing something different, and it kind of threw us a bit, knocked us for six a little bit. But I've got my head around it now. I know what I need to do, and I've remembered what order I'd originally thought about doing things. If you're wondering why I've got the fire on and got the doors open, because one of the jobs while I was working at the cabin was I fixed it's a fiberglass rope that you put as a seal in between the door and the fire, and it stops any smoke coming up, and it had come off. So Genius here had thought, oh, I need something really strong so it doesn't come off again. So I mixed up some 2-part epoxy, and then last weekend when I originally put the fire on, it just stank. It was horrible. You could just smell the chemicals. I had to come outside and open the doors and that. So I figured that if I just blaze the fire away today with the doors open and burn off any of the kind of residue or the stink of what it was, hopefully it'll go and it'll cure and finish. So that's the idea for that part. I've started to take down the old green tarp, and I just want to do a little bit more work on the structure, and then I can put my new tarp on. Man, how well is this folded up? Right, I've got to be honest with you, it's a little bit later than I thought it was going to get. We're probably on the last sort of light now, but we've got a bit of a better pitched roof and a new tarp. During the winter I need somewhere that I can work and do dirty jobs that are like, especially like chainsawing and stuff and cutting wood up, that are undercover but not inside the cabin and making a huge mess inside there. So that's why I like to have this covered area. And then obviously we've got the wood shed on there now, so that's to get painted green and start filling it full of wood. It's, you know, it's October already, so I better crack on and get some in there to dry, so we can keep warm during the winter. Anyway, it's like 6 o'clock. It's way later than I thought it was going to get, and I better get myself home and get some tea. Right, well, it's Friday morning and it's wet. The good news is it's going to be a decent weekend. It's going to rain itself out today, and Saturday, Sunday's looking a lot better. The other good news is that I did the jobs that I needed to do that did need to be dry weather jobs. They're already done and out of the way. This one is today's just more about shoveling it in the dirt, to be honest. So if you get wet, well, I get wet. Well, I've just stopped to get a coffee, and I bumped into my friend Adam, and in that space of time, mouthful of coffee and a quick chat with a mate, it seems to have stopped raining. Now, whether this will last, I'll be honest with you, the forecast did say that it was going to just chuck it down all day today, but we've got a period right now where it seems to have packed in. But it's one of them days. If it does, absolutely throw it down. I mean, it doesn't even, the worrying thing is it'll be, what is it, it'll be about 9:25 now, and it doesn't feel like it's got light yet. That's always a bit of a concern, isn't it? I'm stoked on this, eh? What a way to start the day. Last night was proper wet and windy, and so it was a dead good test of the change in design on this. And I know, let me just get you around. I know that if you look at this carry-on, it does look like it was just chucked up in a day out of scrap pieces of wood, because it was, but it's totally worked. That click was just that bloody switch thing. Is that still working as well? Yay! Oh, it's good news all around. I know it was just a, you know, it is just a bloody lean-to and a bad weather shelter, but that's exactly what it's designed to do. I want to keep the wood stored dry, because it was, if you saw the previous videos, it was cut in half to get up here, which I never trust anything. Once you've cut it in half, is it ever going to be any waterproof or anything? So it's worth having an extra tarp over the top of it. And then there's this whole second area which is pretty much the same size. So they're pretty much the same size as the wood shed, with this second area to do some cutting and stuff in there. Oh, and I had a really good test last night. You know, if something was going to go wrong, or it was going to blow off, or the water wasn't going to, what I was concerned about is the water puddling, and it not having enough support in it. Granted, that support is out of old bits of scrap wood, so how strong is it? It doesn't have to be that strong, other than if I get a big snow dump this winter, I do have to be aware of if it dumps snow. But back here you can see it's got a decent slope and an angle on it, and it's obviously, after the rain and wind that we had last night, it's obviously enough to let let it drain off rather than puddle. So, what a way to start the day. This morning's been a bit about road maintenance, so I've got that pretty much done now, kind of sorted. And what is it? I haven't got a watch. Phone's in the car. It's about 2:30ish. I'll have to double check. Around 2:30. So that means in half an hour Ando's going to arrive back up, and I'll go and have a walk over the tracks, and we'll go and check those grey feeders that we've got up at the top as well. Today, track wise, all I really need to check for is the wind, so any branches down or anything like that, because obviously it's not so much big branches, obvious stuff. Just check for the smaller things as well, because at the end of the day you don't really want one of them things to get in a derailleur, or just anything that might make a mess. So I'm not that I'm trying to doctor the tracks and make them easier, it's just that there's, you know, obvious things we want to get rid of and out of the way. And I suppose double check for any bits of flappy tape or out like that and tighten those back up. But Ando's on his way back over. He's bringing the shotty and the 1.7 I think as well, so we'll have a wander through. But first, it's time to jump in there and get a brew. So we're out here doing track checks. It's starting to get a bit dark. I mean, it's only, well, it's like 4 o'clock-ish. It's not meant to get dark until 6, but obviously some grey clouds coming over for a bit of rain. Anyway, got midway down, get to the chopper and found the sort of thing that I was looking for or expecting to see. Obviously it's been pretty windy, so you've got bits of tape that's been snapped and broken, and have all just got to be repaired back and put in properly. So far, no massive branches across the tracks, which is perfect. We removed 1 or 2 small things, but doesn't appear to be anything serious, which is great, because it was windy last night and the night before. Just stuck under there, so I was thinking that it's probably going to cause a bit of a carry on, but I'm on what am I on? Double down right now. Nothing really happening. Bits and pieces, as I say, but nothing much. I apologise in advance if this video is up a little bit later tonight. It's I'm going to be staying here till, oh, get rid of that. I'm going to be staying here till it gets dark, and then I really need something to eat. Desperate for a shower. So by the time I get all that done, then I can start editing and uploading. So I do plan to have it up tonight, Friday night, but might just be a little bit later. Right, well, I don't know if I caught that on film or not, but a confirmed sighting of a grey. Ando got a couple of shots away. Sometimes they're just jamming and get away with things that really they shouldn't be able to get away with. But as you can see, Ando's got a thing called a flare, and that's a heat camera. It basically, think of Predator. You look through it and stuff glows up. And he's had a good look around and can't spot any of it. As usual, folks, the disappointment thing is more the fact that we even spotted one, not that we didn't manage to get it. I'd be a happier man if we never even saw them. Right, folks, well, that's one less squirrel that lives here now. It's brew time, and then we can make an off. So if you're riding this weekend, have a great weekend out. If you're coming up here, pop in the cabin, say hi, and I'll catch up with you shortly. Thanks very much for watching, folks, and thanks for your time. See you soon.